understand my problem. Yeah. The verse doesn't mention Jesus, does it?
No, but he was wounded.
Let me speak.
Those
people were wounded. The Jews don't believe that's talking about Jesus.
Okay.
So here's the question to you.
At the end of this prophecy,
so why don't the Jews believe this?
You asked so we got
Luke
in the
24.
Old Testament it said where
see,
is
this
the
is
name
what
of
heckling
Jesus.
is all about.
So show me in the
we got
Quran.
Show
I know it's Christ by hecklers.
Where it says Muhammad is prophesied in the Bible.
Smith's heckling team.
Hamza,
ask me a straw man question.
I asked you a direct question, not a straw man question.
It's a logical fallacy, mate.
My claim was
mate.
never based on you as a person. It is based upon the arguments made by the Dawah team week in, week out at Speaker's Corner. Stop running from the question. And if you want to be in, tag in, stop interrupting. Hamza,
Biological fallacy.
for the 5th time, where in the Quran does it say Muhammad is spoken of in the Old or New Testament?
It doesn't.
Now, bro, you just got to focus on getting certain groundworks in your own life. No, please. No, Mohammed said. Yeah. If God is not calling you here, he might be calling you to something. Yeah. But it's good to have you anyway, and certainly this is an education, regardless of whether you see this as some kind of full-time ministry or not. You know, this is an education and an opportunity to grow in your faith. That's never going to be a bad thing. Yeah. So just remember what we said. All right. So where is
Here's the thing, you see, I don't understand. I'm trying to establish.
Do you know how many people?
This is the book of the Jews. No, listen.
whether you choose to accept it or not, that's your
Thank you, Paul. But
opinion,
listen, but Paul,
right? And what if the Jews who choose to accept it or
understand my
not?
problem. The verse doesn't mention Jesus, does it?
No, but he was wounded.
Let me speak.
Those
people were wounded.
The Jews don't believe that's talking about Jesus.
Okay.
So here's the question to
you. At the end of this prophecy,
so why don't the Jews believe this?
That's up to them. And some do. Some do.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of born again Jews.
Yeah, but
they're not Jews anymore, they're not.
And the first.
That's what
we call them. They're Christians anyway. Once you become a Christian, you're a Christian,
No,
whether you're a Jew or...
Jews don't believe this is talking about Jesus, and it's their book.
As a majority, they don't.
Right. It's their book, in their language.
Yeah, but then it says, to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? To whoever has believed this report. They choose not to, but there's some who do.
No, but here's my question to you.
Yeah, but that's not Judaism they're following, are they?
Sorry?
You're talking about the ones who became Christians.
Yeah.
So you're talking about, when you say Jews, you're not talking about the faith of Judaism.
He's on your side,
okay,
mate.
because the mainstream Jews, they rejected. Bro, you're in Speaker's Corner. If you don't like cameras, you're in the wrong place.
If they're using that as a standard, all the prophecies in the Old Testament that they say are talking about Muhammad, the Jews don't believe they're talking about Muhammad. So they're creating a double standard. One standard for Christians and a different standard for Muslims.
You talk about prophecy. Let's look at the prophecy.
We're going from topic to topic.
No, because this is still
this is
about
what me and
Messiah.
you used to do in the market. This is what me and you used to do in the market.
This bro's not going to stand aside.
No. I said it very simply to you. I don't believe the Bible's a reliable source of
But then that's
information.
your opinion.
Right.
That
Don't
you can
hold
have
me
your
to it.
opinion. You don't have to. I'm not
Well,
holding
what
you
are
to
you
it.
trying to?
I'm not holding
You're
you
asking me
to
to
it.
explain verses.
No, I'm not.
What?
No.
You did.
No, I simply said that you don't worship the God of Abraham.
I believe I do.
We do. God of Abraham is one, not 3 in 1.
Okay. Then you have to believe in the statutes that he has set forth in order to worship him.
Okay, was Abraham a Jew?
Okay. Jesus said this, right?
No, you ask questions, you need to respond to it.
Was Jesus Jewish?
Was Jesus Jewish? By faith or by race?
By race or by faith? You tell
I'm
me.
asking you, if he's by faith, then you're telling me you're a Christian and he's a Jew. So your God was a Jew.
Was Jesus
I mean, that doesn't make sense,
was
does it?
Jesus Jewish?
Was that?
Was Jesus Jewish?
By faith? And by
Was he
race?
Jewish? I would say no.
Huh?
I would say no.
Okay. The fact that he was born into a Jewish family.
I wouldn't say his mother was Jewish. I'd say she was a Levite.
Weren't Levites a tribe of the Jews?
No.
They weren't.
No.
You see the Jews, the Jews that trace it from
The Jews had one tribe of Israel.
Was she,
There were 12
was
tribes in
she
Israel.
a direct
And the Levites were
descendant
one of those tribes.
of
Why are you lying?
Abraham?
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't.
Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Because you see, the Jewish people, you should know that they trace
There's a
their
genealogy
lineage. Wait a
in
minute.
there.
Yeah, the genealogies are all men. Do you realize that?
What?
Why are they all men in the genealogy?
Even if God was to come down here and tell you that Jesus Christ is my son,
You know, you're not answering any of the questions.
right?
You just go
won't
to another
believe it.
topic every
you
time.
won't believe it. Is it the
Can I ask
genealogy?
you? Can I ask you a simple
Look,
question? Is the two genealogies of Jesus given in the Bible? Is it all male or female?
They're all male.
All male.
Did Jesus have a male biological father?
No.
End of story.
So where does the genealogy of Jesus come from then?
No. Calm down, man. Calm down.
I'm calm. Don't worry.
down.
I'm
Yeah?
calm. Are you going to answer the question? Are you going to answer the question?
What?
If the Jewish people,
Yeah.
that Jewishness is traced, sorry, the tribe is traced through the men, and Jesus did not have a male biological father, then how would
One
you
of
trace
the
his...
prophecy, either in Luke or the Matthew one,
Are you going to
is
answer the
of
question?
Mary.
Are you going to answer the
Right?
question?
What's that?
If the tribe of any Jewish lineage is traced from the male members, i.e. the biological father,
Yeah.
and wait, listen to the question. Well, how can you then say
Hakeem.
Jesus, who did not have a biological father, is descendant from David? How?
Right. He, through Mary,
Did you not hear the
is a
question?
descendant.
Sorry, did you not hear the
Yeah.
question?
Well, you'll be, you,
Ask your question.
right?
We'll ask for your advice, Godwin, when you need it.
You're,
Stop hackling.
I need to go away, right, and get this answer.
That's
right?
fine.
I'll
You
give
see,
you,
we accept that as an answer. No problem.
I'll give you my email address,
you can
right?
come back
and
and-
you can email me.
You can
this.
come back as Speaker's Corner. Are you London based?
I work too much. I don't have much spare time. Right? So anyway, the original topic was:
got his
do you worship the same God?
We worship one God, the God of Abraham, the God of Moses, the God of Jesus. We worship one God.
If you did, then you have to accept the prophecies in the Old Testament.
Why?
Because they are prophesied to the Jews, right? And it's the God of Abraham.
Let me
and the
show
God
you.
of, God of Isaac and the God of Jacob.
The thing is, Hashim and Hamza, they
Let
only
me show you.
selectively use prophecies that they want.
Bob,
I
are you
know.
going to
So
interject?
Isaiah 42 is supposedly a prophecy of Muhammad, but then the Old Testament
listen
is
to
not
this.
reliable when it doesn't suit them.
Now you asked me.
You mentioned.
So they're very selective about what
You mentioned prophecy.
It's very
Okay.
selective.
Have good manner. Have this is the
The Jews believe in,
If
but the
you
Jews don't
believe-
believe that any prophecy in the Old
If
Testament
you
is on
believe that
Muhammad.
you are truly worshipping the God of Abraham, you have to accept the Torah.
Shall I tell you why not? Shall I tell you why not? Look at this.
Where in
This
the Quran
prophecy.
does it say Muhammad is
Hamza, have you come across this prophecy in Luke 24? Well, you guys are hecklers now, honestly.
I'm asking
We got one
Hamza
heckler.
I'm asking Hamza a question.
Well, he doesn't want to answer you now. We are in the middle of a discussion.
You asked
So
his
we got
where
Luke
in the Old
24.
Testament it said where
See,
is
this
the
is
name
what
of
heckling is
Jesus.
all about.
So show me in the
we
name
got
of the Quran.
mixed
Show me
heckling
in the
team.
Quran where it
This
says
is heckling.
Muhammad is prophesied in the Bible.
Smith's heckling team.
Hamza, why are you scared, man? You're
Smith's
getting
heckling
paid
team.
to do dawah.
We are in the middle of a
People
discussion,
are
aren't we?
paying you.
Answer the question.
Where does it say, Hamza?
Paul.
Hamza, you asked the Christian brother a question. I'm asking you a question about the Quran.
Okay, so
In
basically,
the Quran, where does it
this
say
is what happens.
Muhammad's name
The Christians come here to hackle now.
prophesied in the Bible?
They can't have a normal
Show me.
discussion. They come to hackle.
Nothing. You got nothing, Hamza. Why are people paying you to do dawah?
Comedy gold, mate. Comedy gold.
If this debate goes on for years, right, I will prove to you, and my colleagues will prove to you, that you Muslims do not worship the God of Abraham.
Prove it. Go on, you have a chance right now. Go on, prove it. Prove it. Show me anywhere in the Bible that Abraham, Moses, Jesus ever worshipped a triune God. Go on, prove it to me.
The triune God is only revealed in the New Testament, not
Show
in
me
the
the New
Old.
Testament. Go on, show me the New Testament. Show me where Jesus, his apostles, his disciples ever worshipped a triune God. I challenge you. I challenge you. You had his chance, you lost it.
You've been beaten.
He lost it.
But he doesn't have free
Bob
sex.
had his chance 3 times and he lost it.
Hold a minute.
Go on, I'm asking you.
Show me in the
Bob, stop
Quran
hackling.
where it says
Stop
there are
hackling.
4 legal schools.
Stop hackling.
Show me in the Quran where it says you
In the Quran.
The reason.
the Holy Spirit.
This is what happens.
Why do
Hackling.
you work to double
Hackling. You see this
standards?
hackling.
Show me from
This is
The
called
dawah team works work to double standards.
This is Smith's tackling team.
Double standards.
Smith's tackling team. Do you want to answer?
Hashim asked for proof text from the Bible.
You're going to show me from the New Testament.
But yet can't show any proof text in his Quran for his beliefs.
Yeah.
Hamza says he wants to see the name of Jesus in the Old Testament. But yet he can't show me in the Quran where the name of Mohammed is supposed to be prophesied in the Bible.
He's a heckler. He's a heckler.
We're going to deal with both of them. Let's deal with both of you.
Talk with me.
We'll deal with both of you.
Talk with
We'll
me.
deal with both of you.
Okay, so talk with me now.
We'll deal with both of you.
Talk with me.
Okay, go on.
So,
First of all, don't shout at me.
okay.
First thing. Second thing. Listen.
Okay, go on.
If this geezer points and laughs, yeah, we're walking away.
That's fine. If you want to walk away, that's it.
But you can't control your Christian missionary team.
No, I'm not here to control it.
Oh, you're not?
Secondly,
So don't cry. So don't
you
cry when
pointing?
Muslim get involved.
Well, you're complaining about him pointing, and now he's pointing. You're pointing, but he can't point.
Don't cry when
Double
Muslims get involved,
standards,
okay?
Hamza.
Okay?
Double
Don't cry when
standards.
Muslims get involved.
So,
yeah?
I agree.
All right.
Let's do 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
No.
Why? Are you scared of letting other people speak?
Shall I tell you why?
Are you scared of letting other people
why?
speak?
Shall I explain why?
Go on.
All right. So you're saying I don't want to do 5 minutes because I'm afraid to let you speak?
Yeah.
All right.
That's
No,
what I'm saying.
the reason I don't do 5 minutes is because you'll ignore everything I say. Exactly. You'll shotgun me with all sorts of nonsense. Absolutely. I'll respond to one point and then you'll tell me the points I didn't respond to. So I don't fall for your garbage.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. You demanded of the Christian brother just then.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Did
I
I?
heard you. Yes, you
Well, you
did.
heard wrong.
Yes, you did.
You heard wrong.
What you demanded.
You heard wrong.
What you said was
You heard wrong.
that the name of Jesus wasn't in the Old Testament
1 second, let's
prophecy.
go in the shade.
Yeah?
Let's go in the shade. Let's go in the shade.
Let's go in the shade. I agree. Let's go in the shade.
Honestly, burning out.
Let's go in their shades.
Ready, yeah?
Ginger power.
Honestly, mate, can you stop shouting? It doesn't get your point across. It's true, though, isn't it?
What's that?
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Shouting, mate. It doesn't get your
Well,
point.
this is what they do, isn't it? They heckle.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Yeah, this is nice.
This is Christianity, yeah? Making noise.
So me and you will take on Jason and Joker, yeah? Yeah,
So-
one second.
So Hamza doesn't like to be pointed at, but he does want to start throwing out ad hominems and derogatory comments like yours.
No. Let us add it out. Let us add it out.
So,
I said,
Hamza,
no.
Hamza,
No, if you're going to start
my
misquoting
question,
me. No,
my question to you, Hamza.
I'm answering your question
My
right now.
question to
You
Hamza.
said, I said to you,
My
I don't want to have
question to Hamza.
That's what I said, didn't I? No,
My
I said or not?
question to Hamza is a simple one. I want Hamza to show me where in the Quran it says Muhammad is prophesied in the Old Testament or the New Testament. Show me where it says
When did I
that.
make that claim?
I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
When did I make that claim?
I am asking you.
Okay.
So if you want to have a constructive
Calm down, son. Calm down. Why we need to answer all the time to your question? Why you not answer to
If you wanted to hear Hamza speak, it would appear the man behind the camera wants to debate instead.
Is that what you have done before? Is that what you have done before?
So, Hamza, let me just repeat the question.
You're not the ringmaster.
The question that I've asked Hamza is, where in the Quran does it say Muhammad is prophesied in the Old and New Testaments, please?
First of all, I'm not here to answer your
Answer my question.
No.
Already he's running. Already he's running. He gets paid for this, by the way. I would ask for a refund if you're one of his sponsors.
ad hominem. This is typical Bob behaviour. He does not
Is this
engage.
a tag
He
team?
doesn't get control.
Is this a tag team? You got to tag in and out, bro.
Did you stop?
I didn't see no tagging. I didn't see no tagging. I did not
Did you
see no
stop
tagging.
fucker? Did you stop fucker hecker?
Right.
Did you
Guys,
stop
would you
fucker
like
hecker?
to hear an answer to my
Did you-
question? Here's what my question is.
Typical Bob behaviour.
The Muslims claim that Muhammad is prophesied in the Old and New Testament.
No, they don't.
I am asking where in the Quran it says Muhammad is prophesied in the Old and New Testament.
Show us.
Where did I make that claim?
Let him speak. Let Hamza answer.
I didn't ask you when you made that claim.
First thing,
I asked you, can you show me?
All right. First thing, your classic fallacy of the straw man, yeah? I never made that claim.
I never said you did.
So why are you asking me to answer a question?
I asked you a question. I never said you made a claim. I simply asked you a question.
Said Muslims say this, that, the other.
Muslims say yes, they do. The Dawah team are here every week arguing that the Bible prophesies Mohammed in Old and New Testament. Yes, they do. So my statement is factual. I am asking Hamza, where is that belief? Where is that teaching in the Quran? This is the third time I've asked him. Answer the question.
And I'm going to repeat again. I don't come every week, so I've not made this claim every week. The last time I was here was 2 months ago. So please, don't ask me to answer something that I've not made a claim about.
Okay.
Do you understand what logical fallacies are?
Do you remember that Hamza said, I don't want to do 5 minutes, 5 minutes, because if we do 5 minutes, 5 minutes, you'll ignore everything I said. I've asked him the same question 3 times, and 3 times Hamza, the paid Dawah missionary, ignored the question. I'll ask him a 4th time. Hamza, where in the Quran does it say Muhammad is prophesied in the Old or New Testament?
Right, I'm going to say it one more time, right? If you repeat
running.
it again. It's not running, is it? How's it running? Do you know what straw man argument is?
I know that you are running.
What is a straw man?
I know what you're
What's a straw man?
When you answer my question, I'll
What's a
answer
straw man?
yours.
There we go. So this straw man argument is asking someone to answer a claim they never made.
Deflection. Ladies and gentlemen,
you're a madman.
I have never said that Hamza as an individual has made this claim.
Why did you make this claim?
I said Muslims. Hamza wasn't listening. De-wax your ears, pay attention to the question and the comment, Hamza, and deal with the question. Stop running from the question. And if you want to be in, tag in, stop interrupting. Hamza,
biological fallacies.
for the 5th time, where in the Quran does it say Muhammad is spoken of in the Old or New Testament?
It doesn't.
Thank you. So,
that's it.
Never see that again. Never see that again.
Which surah is it that talks about Ahmed being spoken about in the Old and New Testament?
Listen, first of all,
he says he doesn't know.
This is the topic that he wants to talk about.
I know.
That's why he raised the question. He's not interested in actually having an agreement on the topic to have a discussion.
You've already made brag arguments last week about mercy and merciful and transactions.
They're running.
You can't even handle that.
They're running. They're running. You are runner. You are the runner.
Make your point and support it.
So,
you're going to make your point.
Yeah, we're going to find the Quranic verse. We're going to find the Quranic verse.
What's your point?
We're going to find
What's
the
your
Quranic
point?
verse. We're going to find the Quranic verse.
What's your point you're making?
Can we find the Quranic verse?
What's your point?
Do you mind?
What's your point?
Do you mind?
What's the point you're making?
Do you notice?
Do you notice, Bob? I understand. Why is that
He doesn't want to answer the question, and he is just making lots of noise.
That's all comment.
The question that I asked Hamza was where in the Quran does it say Muhammad is prophesied in the Old and the New?
It doesn't.
However, he says that it doesn't. So now let's find the relevant ayah and surah.
Can I just say something to you, please?
Come on, no. Let him say something. Watch Speaker's Corner. Let him speak. Let the man speak. If I get him, let the man. Let him speak. Let the man speak.
Excuse me.
No, I'm fine.
No.
Yeah, I'm looking for the verse where it talks about Ahmed in the Quran.
You have to Google them.
So now you're making my claim for me?
Excuse me.
No, you're creating your own straw man, mate.
No, first thing, you asked me a straw man question.
I asked you a direct question, not a straw man question.
The logical fallacy, mate.
My claim
fallacy,
was
mate.
never based on you as a
haven't made a
person.
claim.
It is based upon the arguments made by the Dawah team week in, week out at Speaker's Corner. And everyone who's here as a regular knows it.
Have I made that claim? Have I made that claim?
No.
Have I made that claim? So, have I made that claim? Have I made that claim? We're going to deal with your lies later. We're going to deal with your lies later. Yeah? We'll deal with your lies. Don't worry about that, mate. We're going to deal with you. Get your nonsense, mate. We're going to deal with your lies.
Why are you so angry?
You call me a coward and you call me a liar.
Why are you so angry?
We're going to deal with you. We're going to expose Jason Burns.
Why are you so angry?
You're a liar, yeah.
I'm a liar. Yeah. What did I say that I know wasn't true?
Why are you running away from me?
What did I say that I know wasn't true? What did I say? You called me a liar. What did I say that I know isn't true?
Hamza, listen, don't get all irate. You said numerous times that in Deuteronomy 18,
Christian missionary.
You said it on numerous occasions, that Mohammed is prophesied in the Old Testament. You said it. Don't lie, Hamza. Don't lie, Hamza. It's on video. Don't lie. Okay? You said it numerous occasions.
And your lies. You're getting exposed today, Jason Burns. For all the lies you come out with.
You could deal with it if you tried. Just
well, we're going to do it.
Just chill out.
And then we'll decide whether you got dealt with or not. Because you called me a liar.
You are a liar.
Lied about what?
You lied. You said
what did I lie about? What did I lie about?
Don't lie.
Nothing, mate.
Yes, you are.
Nothing, mate.
What
What did I lie about? What did I lie about?
Just check. Can someone get him a coffee?
Do you know why I'm finding it very hard? Because I deal with civilized discussion. I don't deal with ad hominem logical fallacy discussions.
Does he look like he's civilized? Am I civilized? No. Am I shouting?
You don't know what civilized means.
He's a liar.
Do you know what civilized means? Do you know what civilized means? It means just. It means just.
I know he is. I just need to find.
Get out of what? I've not made any claims.
Trying to get out of it.
Hamza, you don't listen. You don't listen, Hamza.
Get out of what?
Hamza is trying to create his own straw man because he is saying that I have said he has made a claim. But everyone who was here from the beginning heard me say Muslims make the claim.
So why are you asking me?
Because you are a Muslim.
If he makes the claim, then I make the claim. Has anybody heard me make a claim about anything?
Yes,
Every week. Yes, every week.
What claim have I made? Apart from Jason's a liar, other than that, what other claim have I made?
You said,
do you know what civilized means?
Yes.
It means just, and yes it is. Because he called me a liar and he's got no evidence to support it, and that will expose him as a liar.
So
simple.
So
did you find out?
So I've not made any claims here, so I don't know what he's looking for. I really don't.
We're going to find it for you.
Ad hominem.
Find what?
Focus on the argument.
But I've not made any claims.
1 second, bro.
Remember that he said
1 second.
that there is a statement.
There's a verse in the Quran.
He said there's a statement in the Quran where it says that Muhammad is mentioned
in the New Testament and the Old Testament. Okay.
In the scriptures, yes.
So you're saying Muhammad?
No, you said New Testament and Old Testament.
Yes, in the scriptures.
No, you said New Testament and Old
Which are the
Testament.
scriptures, thank you very much.
You said the New Testament and the Old Testament.
What is the scriptures?
Thank you very much.
Don't start getting your semantics. Just listen to
He's not getting semantics.
Yeah, that's your way of getting out of it.
Just stand behind him, you'll be right.
Well, sorry, so me addressing his exact point is getting out of it.
Which verse is it?
You asked me a question and then you changed the question, and that's me getting out of it.
So the Christian missionary team are confirming to find Bob the first that he's looking for.
I don't even know what he's looking for.
Guys, something from the parent view.
07557.
My grandparents are both pastors, part-time pastors admittedly, and they do things like what you're doing, speaking to people like Darian. They'd be embarrassed by the way you two are acting.
Absolutely.
And shame on the pair of you, honestly. Sorry, I had to
Look,
say that.
Soy Boy here is here to talk about weak man's Christianity. You go and preach it, brother. Preach it somewhere else.
Christianity is best when it preaches love.
Yeah, but he's a Muslim.
Yeah. Right. So.
Yeah. Be careful.
Neither read nor write. Who is the prophet, Muslims, who cannot read or write? It's Mohammed. Yes. And the Muslim scholars agree.
Notice the fallacy.
Whom they find written with them in the Torah, which is the Old Testament, and the Injil, which is the New Testament. Hamza is wrong.
Okay, first thing, no. First thing, you're talking a garbage again. Okay, first thing, we don't believe the Injil is the New Testament, so you're wrong there. So that's the second false assumption you've made. I can't keep dealing with your fallacies and your false assumptions, mate. And you're straw men. It's just ridiculous.
So, quite clearly,
we
You
have
can have this argument in the
established,
mirror, mate, because I've not made any of these
we have
claims.
established that Hamza's first premise was false.
Versions of events. Okay, so the idea of this area is it was set up back in Victorian times.
Yeah, I'm
We
aware
know
of the
that.
history.
But these days now it's got two focused on religious issues, which is basically not what it was set up for. Okay, that is being looked at the moment. There is serious concern with that, and it may well be that in future that this isn't an appropriate area for that to take place. So if you abuse it, you will lose it, as we say. Okay.
No, I get that.
I've got no issue with any of you being here today. Not a problem at all. As a Metropolitan Police Officer, I'm duty bound to keep the peace, protect life and limb, and serve everyone that's still around me. Okay? Now, we can go and speak to the chap.
They're here.
A conversation with about 50 people around us, and we can discuss this like proper men, and then we can deal with it. Would you be happy with that?
That would be happy. I would be happy.
He's over there. He's over there. Right, okay. What I suggest, we don't want too many people here, is antagonising. Your mere presence may well cause an issue. Okay, so we're going to have a little chat with him. I'm going to go over and get him. If you want to just hang on over here for me, I'll bring him over, we'll have a little chat.
Thank you.
And we can deal with
Okay.
it. I'm not
Yeah,
having a shouty argument match.
That's fine.
That's fine. But we're with him though.
Well, but he shouldn't have pushed me. Yeah. He shouldn't have pushed me.
No, he pushed you first. Look.
Yeah.
Watch. No, it's even worse. Look, watch. There you go. There's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. There you go.
Yeah, we can show that to the policeman.
The confrontation for me is not as important as the discussion that preceded it. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's a minor confrontation. But the Dawah team and the Salafists at the corner need to be challenged on the fact that they think that they can resort to violence whenever they're rattled in debate and discussion. And they've got to be challenged on that. People have got to stand up to them when they do that. Because we can't rely on other people to uphold justice for us at the moment in our society. In terms of the discussion, which I think was actually much more important, Hamza comes to Speaker's Corner on a regular basis, challenging Christians about the reliability of their texts. And when I started to discuss with Hamza what was going on, it was actually whilst he was talking to another Christian. And I heard him say, with regards to an Old Testament prophecy that was talking about the Christ, he said, but that doesn't mention Jesus, does it? Jesus' name is not there. So Hamza establishes a principle, which is where in the Quran does it say Muhammad is prophesied in the Old and the New Testament? Because if Muslims are going to try and use the Old and the New Testament to prophesy that Muhammad is there, well, they have to start with the Quran and justify that belief from the Quran. So we showed him one verse where it talks about an unlettered prophet, one who can't read or write, and the scholars clearly think that that was Muhammad. They actually insert in brackets Muhammad's name as being referred to in this particular passage that we quoted. And Hamza said that nowhere in the Quran does it say that Muhammad is prophesied in the Old and the New Testament. And he goes on to say that the Old and the New Testament as we have it today are not really the Old and the New Testament that's been spoken of in the Quran. But the fact of the matter is the scholar that translated the Quran that I was using refers his listeners to two passages in the Old and the New Testament, one in the Old and one in the New, at the one that we have today, not some mythical one that we have no evidence for that supposedly existed. And so what we have is a situation where a double standard is being created by the Dawah team, that they say that they will use the Old and the New Testament whenever it suits them to argue that Muhammad is prophesied in our Bible. But then when those passages don't suit them or contradict their belief or teach something that they don't agree with, they say, well, that's not the real Zabur, that's not the real Torah, that's not the real Injil. So they're highly selective in the passages that they use, and it's purely based upon what passages suit their argument, not on any well worked out or genuinely academic hermeneutic. And so what I was trying to do was to show that nowhere in the Quran does it name Muhammad as being prophesied in the Old and the New Testament. It doesn't say it anywhere. And actually, Hamza agreed with me. He said it doesn't, which means that Hamza is contradicting people like Zakiyallah, who uses Isaiah 42. He's contradicting Muhammad Tawid, who uses John 14 to 16. Hamza is saying that people who have argued that Muhammad is prophesied in the Old Testament and the New Testament, like Zakir Naik and Ahmad Didat, are all wrong. And yet when we find one verse in the Quran that actually names someone as giving them a name as being prophesied in the Old and the New Testament, he doesn't even use the name Muhammad. He uses the name Ahmed. So the question that I wanted to ask Hamza, this paid dawah missionary here at the corner, the guy who challenges tourists and unsuspecting Christians, is if he believes that Muhammad is not spoken of as being prophesied in the Old and New Testament, who is this Ahmed? And if this Ahmed is Muhammad, as I believe it is, that Muslims interpret that to be, well, where is the name Ahmed in the Old and the New Testament? So, those were the kind of arguments that I was trying to erudite. Hamza ran away, not once, not twice, 3 times, because I followed him 3 times. And because he was so rattled, he turned aggressively. But the arguing about the aggression is not really the point. He shouldn't have pushed me, he shouldn't have pushed JC, and he shouldn't have damaged the camera. And if Hamza had any real sense of justice, he would apologise to me, apologise to JC, and offer to pay to compensate for the camera. But the fruit of his deen is not about justice. The fruit of his deen is about dominance. It's about controlling, taking territory and controlling space. Because the Salafists believe that's what you have to do. They have a dominion theology. Take territory, control space. And when you challenge them on their right to take territory and control space, you see the result.